What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know. Das. We get it in, but before we get it in, let's get to the intro. Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun is kicking. And I highly appreciate it, man. Thank you for all your support. I'm very humbled. Hashtag free Kane. So breaking news right here. Cain Velasquez has been transferred to his reception. He's actually transferred to Wasco State Prison. And that kind of blew my mind. I thought he would go to San Quentin as a reception, but I guess for whatever reason, they're accepting people in Wasco. So he's in Wasco, the Central Valley. That's where Cain Velasquez has arrived. Now, right now, he's on the reception side. So let me explain to you guys exactly how it works. He went through R&R. He got processed into reception. Now, from what I'm being told, he's not being housed separately. He's not in a secure housing. He's actually being housed with the SNY guys, the other side, right? The non-active gang members, the PC cases, the whatever you want to call them, whatever it is, that's where Cain Velasquez is being housed on the reception side. So they chose to place him with a security concern on the side where guys that have security concerns go. Now, he'll be sitting there for 3 to 4 months, maybe even longer. There is a good possibility that he doesn't get housed because of the amount of time he's doing, which is pretty much down to about a year, maybe a few more months than a year. But I'm thinking that he's probably going to get level 2 points and overrode to a level 1. And maybe quite possibly because they have him right there in the valley, they could ship him to somewhere like McFarland or somewhere else that's a minimum facility. Now, Cain Velasquez is going to do easy time. But as of right now, he's going to be hard timing it with everyone else. Reception is probably the worst part about being locked up besides county jail. We all know those that have been locked up, county jail is the worst. They literally starve you into a conviction. You sit there in the county, man, it's no joke. You know, the canteen's not good. The food's processed. It's not good. All the fucking calories are cooked out of it. You know, a lot of the COs or the cops, the sheriffs that work in the building, you know, they're just assholes, man. It just is the way it is. County jail is built to break you. Okay, now reception isn't too far away from county jail as far as what you get. In some receptions, you will receive commissary, you will get canteen, but it's nothing like hitting a main line of a prison. And when I say main line, that doesn't necessarily mean general population. A main line is any prison outside of reception, whether it's an SNY side, a 50-50 yard, what is that, designated fucking programming yard or whatever they got. They got so many different names for all these yards. At the end of the day, Cain Velasquez has hit Wasco. Now, Wasco is where they house a lot of the Fresno Bulldogs. That's their reception. So you'll always have a lot of Bulldogs there. That's the only reception that they go to. There's going to be a lot of Norteños and, of course, a lot of Southsiders from Bakersfield, the Central Valley, Upstaters. It just is what it is. Now, a lot of these guys, because it's reception, are kept separate. That's the way reception works. It always tripped me out how they'll keep North and South separate on reception, or Bulldogs separate on reception, yet integrate these guys when they get to the main lines and they get to the main yards. You'll have the same North. It could be the same Southsider leaving from Wasco on the bus that you had no contact with or couldn't be around because it was on site or it was a mandatory rush, yet you get to the same facility and you guys get off in R&R together. It's just the politics of prisons, the way it works. Reception has always been a situation where everybody is on site with each other for whatever reason. I guess because you got a lot of new people that aren't laced up or educated enough to understand exactly what time it is. So you get a little bit of a pass in reception, and they know that. So what they do is they segregate people and keep them separated. Now, Cain Velasquez is on the linea. He's in the reception area. So he's going to do just like any other person would do. You know, right now, it's what time is it? Over here on West Coast time, it's 9 o'clock. They've already been self-fed breakfast. They're waking up. You know, he's kicking it with the celly. I'm sure he's been given a celly. And it's program time as usual. Now, Cain Velasquez, like I said, is an anomaly. But because he is on the non-active side, You know, he's not going to be, he's not going to have to function. He's not going to be inclined to function. There's going to be no one getting at him, checking his paperwork. There's going to be no one getting, besides his celly, if his celly's like that, but everybody knows what Kane's in for. But still, they'll give him a once-over just to make sure. They'll give it a once-over like Wes Watson has a comb-over tattoo. Again, man, most of the interaction he's going to have is going to be with his celly, or when he goes to medical or outside of that building, then he'll have interaction. I'm sure the cops are pretty enraptured with Cain Velasquez. You know, he's a star. He's a star there, but that doesn't necessarily mean, as far as administration goes, that he's going to be treated any differently. Now, the cops, the COs, they definitely will show him preferential treatment. That's a fact. You know, I've seen people that had a little bit of fame get treated different. They get that extra sack lunch. They get that porter job, so they're out on the tier all day. They're not locked in their cell. I could see Cain Velasquez getting that porter job. I could see Cain Velasquez being able to function and move around, maybe even in a program office. But that happens later when he gets to a main line, if he even makes it to a main line. Because as of right now, since he's short timing, right? I don't know if they want to procure the bed space just for him. Now, again, because of who he is, they might make an exception and get him up out of reception pretty quick. But I've seen dudes sit in reception, especially level 4, guys that are going to level 4s. I've seen them sit in reception almost up to a year, 9 months. And that's because in the level 4s, you don't have a lot of guys paroling. There's not a lot of open bed space. A lot of the guys that are there are lifers, or they're doing hundreds and hundreds of years, consecutive life sentences. So you don't see a lot of a turnaround on a level 4 180 yard, or even a high power level 3. Now on level 2s and 1s, you got guys constantly in and out of prison, getting out. So there's always going to be open bed space. I cannot see, for the life of me, Cain Velasquez being a level 3 or level 4, even though he has a violent crime, even though, you know, it's looked at as an attempted murder. He didn't plead to an attempted murder. Of course, you plead to an assault with a weapon. Still, with his background, his history, his nonviolent nature, and the person he is, I don't see him going to a level 3 or 4. I think he'll go to a level 1 or level 2, quite possibly a camp. And it's going to be easy peasy for Cain Velasquez. He's going to be doing easy time. But Wasco's no joke. And I'll explain to you why. Just because you're on the non-active side, there's still a lot of things going on behind the scenes. And there's a lot of people that don't give a fuck who you are. Now, of course, in reality, no one's going to test Cain Velasquez. No one's going to run up on Cain because they don't want to get put in the chokehold or the camel clutch. So that's not going to happen. But he's still going to have to go through the same thing everyone else goes through. He's still going to eat a bag lunch just like anyone else. He's still going to be confined to that cell most of the time, again, unless he gets a porter job or gets plugged in with whatever other jobs they got going on there. The fact is, Cain Velasquez is now in state prison. So everything right now going forward is better because now his mission has started. See, that's the way I was. See, when you're in county jail, you're fighting your case. There's a lot of complacency going on there. There's a lot of non-movement. The only movement you have to look forward to is going to court. Going to court, seeing your family in the courtroom, or seeing your friends or your hyena or whoever, right? So people look forward to their court date, but court dates are usually spread out far away. And by the time you go to courts, man, you're so fucking entranced on some zombie shit with county jail, you could care less, right? You're zombied out. Your pigmentation's fucked up from lack of good air, from lack of good sun. And it's like these things that you look forward to, you don't even want your family to see you like that. So when the movement starts, when you finally get convicted and you're going to prison, you'll notice a lot of people are happy to finally be moving on in their journey. It's the next step in the journey, and it's always reception. The reason they have reception is because that's the one opportunity for them to figure out where they're going to put you. See, if they didn't have a reception in prison, and there's several different receptions, Wasco just happened to be the one they sent him to. But if you weren't sent to reception, you know, that's where they do the medical work, the blood work. That's where they make sure, man, you know, you're not J-catting out, or the medication you need, or if you have health problems. This is kind of where they get you ready to go on that final leg of your journey to the prison where you're going to sit for a while. Now, I don't think Cain Velasquez is going to be one of those guys that gets moved around a lot. He's going to do the 3 steps. He went from county jail to Wasco State Prison, which was a notorious prison back in the days, and shit does go down there, okay? Being that it's a reception prison, like I said, there's very minimal contact with opposition or adversaries, so you don't have too many things going down. They keep the Bulldogs in the Bulldog dorm. They keep the Southsiders separated from the Northerners. It's just the way it goes down, or at least they did back in the days. Now, if there's some intermingling going on, that'll blow my mind because I've never seen Reception do that, have these guys all mixed up and together. Just not the way they did it. Now, I've only been to one reception and one reception only several times, and that was Tracy DVI Gladiator School. And that's because that was the Central Valley reception. That's where they sent us. So getting to Tracy was like normal to me. It was like having fucking papas and chorizo for breakfast for a Mexican. It's normal. Like, where's the tortillas at? Where's Tracy Prison at? Right? It got to a point where it was like it was like my second home, unfortunately, right? And I'm not boasting or bragging or glorifying it, but that's the mentality there. It was like nothing. You know, when I had heard all these stories about how crazy Tracy was back in the days and so much death and so much sangre and how prison organizations started there and all this history that they had, and I'd get there and play it for a fool. Like, it's just Tracy. It ain't nothing. Bad water, good vibes, right? That was it. Now, Wasco I've never been to, but I got a lot of Bulldog partners that have. And they say for the most part, Wasco is what it is, man. It's just your next step in your journey to prison. Now, I believe, honestly, truly, that Kane will be moved pretty quick. You know, within the next 3 to 4 months, I think he'll hit a main line, and I'm going to be keeping you abreast of him, all that. Where he's going, if I was to say it right off the top, I'd say a level 2 yard dorm setting, and I think he'll be all right. In fact, I'm sure he'll be all right. He'll get the good job. He'll do the quick turnaround. He'll be out before Christmas. That's a fact, right? I don't see him getting involved in any conflict, bringing in contraband, drugs, drinking. He's a lot more, what's that word? He's a lot more structured, okay, disciplined than to get involved in the shenanigans in the reindeer games. You know, there's a lot of people that go in as a disciplined person and they go all out. They get involved in the pastillas and the drinking and the gambling. And that right there causes confusion on the yard, especially if you can't pay. And that's where you see people getting whacked. And it doesn't matter on what side of the yard you're on, if you're on the bad side or the good side or the other side. It just is what it is. Prison is prison. At the end of the day, metal is sharp. Okay? Metal is sharp. I used to tell the little homie that, man, them fools on the other side, they ain't about nada. I said, hey, guess what's over there? What? Metal. And it's sharp. It's sharp, bro. And there's people with the mentality to use it, especially more so over there because they don't have to answer to no one. There's no politics like that. And it's a free-for-all. So best believe, would you rather be in a place that's structured, there's fucking proper procedures you have to go through and politics, and you stick with your own people, or you're going to go somewhere where it's a free-for-all, you step on someone's foot, anyone can get their head cut off? I don't know about you, but, you know, it makes you think, right? Now, as far as Cain Velasquez goes, he did pull up to Wasco. And just like anyone else, man, I don't think he'll be treated any differently other than by the COs, who, of course, will show him a little bit of preferential treatment. But it's crazy to see it pop up on the California prison inmate locator that he's now in Wasco prison. You know, so he's been given a CDC number. That number will stick with him until he discharges it through parole. Now, let's talk about after. After Cain leaves Wasco reception, he'll be going to a main line. And more than likely, it will be a soft level 2, probably one of those non-designated yards, a programming yard, where they got non-active gang members and active gang members, and they're integrating everyone. I don't see them putting them on a hardcore SNY yard because most of the SNY yards left in the state are level 4 180s, 270s, or level 3s. I don't see him being that. So I think he'll go to an integrated yard, kind of a softer 50-50 yard. He'll go there, he'll program, he'll function. Everyone will leave him alone because they don't like to get beat up. And that will be that pretty much right now. As far as that goes, from there, he'll get out. He will be on parole. He will be on high control parole because of his case, but he won't have no gang issues. And it'll come to a point where his check-ins will not even be that extensive. He'll probably do paper check-ins. And I think within a year, maybe 18 months, he'll be gone. He'll be off parole and he'll discharge his number, and it'll be a thing of the past. And we'll be speaking about it in the past tense. So just like anyone else, man, he pulled up to reception. He's doing his time. You know, I don't see no issues there. Now, of course, you know, if he gets to reception and for some reason someone wants to test his abilities, which is very foolish, you know, but he's a man just like any other man. He bleeds and he breathes. So anyone could get got. You know, there was one guy like, oh, man, he could take everyone out on the yard anytime he wanted. No, zero. Big, you didn't do it, and big fucking Kane ain't doing it. Nobody is bigger than the program on the yard. I'll just say that. No man is bigger than the program unless he has status and he's that man. But other than that, no one is bigger than the program. Will he be extorted because he has money? You try to extort Kane. Come on now. There's going to be no one doing that. He's probably going to find a couple good dudes that treat him right. He's going to surround himself with some good people. He's going to work out. He's going to eat as healthy as he can on that fucked up yard. And he's going to function and do his time. Get him a little job, read, write, educate himself. You don't have much time to do anything else other than that unless you get involved in the bullshit. See, the people that are walking around trying to play the cool role, getting all the tattoos and doing all that, oh, yeah, you're going to find all the drama you want in the California Department of Corrections. It's there for you. Oh, man, they got your bed. You make it and lay in it, right? It's right there. But there are a lot of people that are programmers. They actually stay out the way. They do their time. Of course, if their people get into some fucking conflict or some shit, they got to raise their hand and get in. But for the most part, everyone's like, leave that out alone. He's just working, trying to do his thing for his family, stay out the way. It's how it is in prison. There's a lot of respect. Remember, the foundation of prison is built upon respect. So you got to respect the man's get down. If a man doesn't want to get high and doesn't want to participate in the Reindeer games, there's no way you can make him or force him. Now, if you're a gang member and you're part of a certain group, well, then yes, you are encouraged and entrenched and highly motivated to get involved in the Reindeer games, in the bullshit. Cain Velasquez is not none of that. Cain Velasquez is just going to be a model prisoner and do his time, or he could just go ass out backwards and just beat a chomo up. And then it is what it is. We don't know. We don't know. All I do know for facts is that he did pull up to Wasco prison. It looks like as of the 27th, I was looking him up in the inmate locator, and it wasn't showing anything till this morning. And I made a couple calls and found out, hey, what's the dealio over there in Wasco? Because I've never been there. I've only heard stories. They said he'll be all right. It's just reception. He'll probably be there about 3-4 months and then get on down the road. So that's pretty much where we're at with the whole Cain Velasquez situation. It's still hashtag free Cain, but at the end of the day, man, he's going to do his time like a man. For the people that are talking about pardons, for the people that are talking about he's a northerner, for the people that are fucking spreading rumors, all that shit is falsification on a man's name. This man is an ex-UFC fighter that's locked up for defending his child, and he's going to do his time just like anyone else would. Will he get treated differently? Maybe in some cases, yes, but probably to the positive, not the negative. Will he get caught up on them S&Y yards or on them fucking soft yards in the bullshit shenanigans? Well, anyone can. You know, every day is a different day. He could wake up in the morning, be going to the chow hall, and some shit crack off right in front of him. Someone gets booked, and he gets involved. So you're never safe in prison, even if you're trying to program and do your own thing. Okay, especially in a California prison system where anything can pop off at any time, and it does. Believe that. What you least expect is what is expected. But as far as in Wasco, like I said, he's segregated. He's to his building. He's not in the hole. He's not housed in administrative segregation. None of that. He's housed with the population of the people that he's functioning with. Okay, meaning the S&Y side, the non-active side. Anyways, with that being said, that's the breaking news. Cain Velasquez has been transferred to Wasco State Prison. You can look him up on the California inmate locator if you think I'm bullshitting. As far as how long he'll be there, well, that's up to the administration and up to bed space. You know, I've been to receptions in Tracy where I sat down for a month and was transferred, and I sat down for 6 months. You know, it all depends on the point system, the level, the bed space, where they want to send you, when they want to send you, and you'll never know, man. One day they just come to your cell, tell you to roll it up, put your shit in a sheet, and let's go. And the next thing you know, a few hours later, you end up at the prison where you end up, and you got to start the whole process over. Now, if you're a gang member, you know what that process entails. You got to go out there and let it be known exactly who you are and what yard you're coming from and why you're coming from and how you're coming from and who you're coming from and all that coming from, right? With Cain, it's going to be different. He's going to get to a prison. Everyone already knows what he's about, who he is. You know, like I said, the only ones that are probably going to even question him on his paperwork and just want to see it will probably be his cellie. You know, but again, he's going to go to a yard or a place where a lot of the guys are coming from, you know, a protective custody situation or a sensitive need yard situation. So there's no one that could tell him anything that hasn't kind of did the same shit. Anyways, Cain Velasquez, Wasco State Prison. That's what it is, man. I'll keep you updated on the ongoing movements of Cain Velasquez and where he goes from here. With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. I appreciate all the support. Make sure you guys tap into Gunners Collective TV. We're banging, doing it over there, man. Hey, I know you guys appreciate the supers. We're going to continue the supers over here. I'm working on getting Ricky, if not at least on a live showing his ugly ass mascara, at least his voice, so you guys could hear the whooping. This is the gun, man. I appreciate everyone. Hashtag free Kane. We're with you, my brother. In spirit, not in that cell. Bang, bang.